Hey there. Sometimes the hardest part of taking a road trip, it's not the planning and the budget and the navigating. Very often it's dealing with the concerns and the fears of the people who love you and may not want you to go. So maybe you feel excited and ready to do something on your own, but your family and maybe your friends are nervous. Maybe they're worried about your safety, or they just don't like the feeling of you being out there on your own. And for some people, they just can't quite figure out why you would want to do something like this without them. So in this video, I want to talk with you about how you can navigate those conversations in a thoughtful way, and then also provide you some extremely actionable and practical ways to help you and your family feel more comfortable, and how to move forward with confidence when the people you love are making you question something that genuinely feels right to you. Hey, I'm Bing from Wonder Bing Travel. This is Lexi, my golden, and we have been solo road tripping for many years now. And I am an experienced solo road tripper and author who loves to talk solo road tripping and equip and inspire women to get out there and seek freedom and wonder on their own. Let's get started. I also think it's important to say this right from the beginning. Most of the time, the people who are worried about you love you and care for your well-being. They're not necessarily trying to hold you back or ruin something that feels exciting and meaningful to you. A lot of times, they are reacting out of protectiveness or unfamiliarity with what you want to do, or simply because solo road tripping, it's just simply something that they would never personally choose to do themselves. Even in this day and age, our culture still sends frequent messages, I think, to women that we are better off in predictable and comfortable spaces. So when you start talking about driving across the country by yourself, staying in places all alone, and intentionally stepping out on your own for the first time, it can feel pretty outside the box to the people around you. I think it's really important to remember this. Just because somebody else is uncomfortable with something doesn't automatically mean that it is wrong or unsafe for you to do it thoughtfully and responsibly. I've also learned that trying to argue people out of their fear doesn't work very well. What does help is giving them the opportunity to see that you are approaching this thoughtfully and realistically. Let me give you some practical ideas. And one of the easiest things you can do is just share your plans with them. Sit down and tell them what your intentions are for this trip. Let people know where you're going, let them know where you're staying, and then when can they expect to hear from you. You may even want to set up a specific time of evening when they can expect a text from you on a daily basis or every other day, or whatever you can mutually agree on. And the goal is, yes, to provide them with some peace, but it is also to hold on to your own sense of independence in all of this. And that can be tricky. I think it's really important to remember that for you, but even more so for them in these scenarios, so much of this stems from fear of the unknown. And in this case, it's their unknown. And they feel like they don't have any control over the situation whatsoever, and that makes them really nervous. I also think it's really helpful if the people around you, they can see that you have thoughtfully prepared for this. Not in a fearful way, though, not that you're doing it out of a sense of fear, but that you're just organized and prepared. Here are some things that you can do. Things like planning out your route ahead of time, making sure that your car is serviced and good to go before you leave, making sure that you have roadside assistance. It might help to plan your lodging before you leave. That can give people peace, both you and them. Another thing you can do is to share your location if that makes you comfortable. And then somebody can just check and see where you are at any time, and that takes a lot of the worry away. And if you're a mom and you've done this at some point with your own children, you know exactly what that feels like. And if they can see that you are approaching this in a very common sense way, I think that helps give them a lot of peace as well. And honestly, this is one of the reasons why I created a little workshop called From Fear to Freedom. Because sometimes fear gets smaller when people better understand what practical preparation actually looks like. It stops being unknown, and once you know what you're dealing with, it just gives everybody more confidence. So if there is someone in your life who is especially nervous about you taking a solo road trip, then this might actually be something that benefits both of you. I'll put the link below. Also, beyond safety itself, I think that people we love sometimes just feel disconnected from what we're doing, and that makes them feel nervous as well. So if they don't understand the experience, or they don't understand the attraction to the whole thing for you, it just feels unfamiliar, and then it feels scary for them. So one thing that I did on my very first solo road trip, because I definitely was dealing with this situation, was to start a really simple blog so that I could share photos and also stories from my travels. This way it gave people back home an opportunity to follow along and they could see where I was, but it also gave me the freedom and the space to share on my own time. It alleviated the pressure of me feeling like I needed to check in with people, and it also gave me an opportunity to explore what turned out to be a really meaningful part of my travel, which was writing about it. That blog, called Just Being Bing, is actually still on my website, and I will put a link for it here as well as below if you're interested in just seeing how it all began and what that felt like for me. If this idea resonates with you, but a blog feels like a lot, you could also start a closed Facebook group, invitation only, and share your pictures and kind of what's going on with you on a daily basis. Or you could just do a Google or Apple photo album so that you would have an opportunity to just put up pictures and people could see all the places that you are. Be creative. People love to know what you're up to when you're on a solo road trip, in addition to it making them feel the relief of, oh, I guess she's okay. Then they start to see, you know what, there's a lot more to it than that. They start to see the joy behind it and how much fun you're having, and I think that really affects the way they look at it. Another thing that you can do that is extremely impactful is to explain to people why you want to do this. Not in a defensive way, because you don't need their permission, but helping the people who love you understand that this often, it's not about you getting away from people. And for those who feel blindsided by this choice that you're making, they often take it personally when that's not the intention at all. A lot of times your decision to take a solo road trip is because you're looking for space. It might be space to think, it might be space to just breathe, an opportunity to rebuild lost confidence in your life, a time to reconnect with yourself. And then maybe it's just finally doing something that you've always dreamed about doing and proving to yourself that you can be both self-sufficient and independent. I know for me that was a big one. And very often when people begin to understand the heart behind what you're doing, then the conversation might soften just a little bit. And here's the truth that I think it's really important that we recognize and acknowledge, and that is that a solo road trip is really not just about the travel. The people who are watching you do it, most of the time that's never occurred to them. They just see the scary part of you trying to go off on your own. A lot of times this desire to take the solo road trip, it's coming during some season of growth and change in your life. So it could be that your kids are grown, you're empty nesting, you've lost a spouse, you've lost a parent, maybe you're relocating, you've retired. Whatever that shift may be, whether it's something that's related to heartbreak or it's just exhaustion, you've been taking care of people for a long time and you're ready to go out and try something on your own. It's not completely about the travel, but of course that's a big part of it. So this is certainly true in my story, and I find this over and over again as I work with and talk with hundreds of women, now thousands of women. We've all seemed to lose a little bit of ourselves along the way. I think that's super normal in our lives, especially with women. We tend to be caretakers in many ways of lots of different people, and I think we lose a little bit of ourselves along the way. And now we're ready to kind of pick our heads up out of the sand and look around and figure out, who am I and what do I want to do? That was definitely where I was in my life, and a solo road trip absolutely helped me begin to figure all that out, because it gave me space and time and freedom an opportunity to open my eyes and view and see the wonder that is around the bend. So when you choose to do something independently, that can feel both exciting, but also incredibly vulnerable. I think this is why when the people around you respond mostly out of fear or doubt or worst case scenario, it really stinks and it makes you feel doubtful about the whole thing and maybe a little bit resentful as well. And know that they're not trying to hurt you, but it can come off as if they are underestimating you. And because you're trying to do something that is both new and meaningful, I think constant fear from other people can actually make you start questioning yourself as well. And I do think that it's important that we protect a little bit of that emotional space for our own growth in the process. And you don't really need their permission. I also want to encourage you that you do not have to convince every single person in your life to completely understand why this matters to you. Sometimes people will only understand it once they start to see you do it, and that was absolutely true in my case. At first, there were people around me who worried about the idea of me traveling alone. I had recently been through a pretty tumultuous period of my life, and I think they were feeling extra protective of me. But over time, as they saw how thoughtful and how prepared I was to get out there on the road on my own, and more importantly, when they saw how transformational solo travel had become for me personally, then their opinions started to shift. They saw the confidence that it was building in me. They also saw that I was more independent and that I was happier, that there was a true sense of joy. And they saw the sense of freedom and of wonder as it brought me back to life again. And when something becomes familiar instead of unknown, then it usually becomes a whole lot less scary, not just for us, but for the people around us as well. It doesn't mean, though, that you have to start somewhere big. You can start this whole adventure in a very small way. You can ease yourself into it. You can learn and you can grow as you go. But I really do believe that there is something meaningful about creating a little space in your life for growth, for independence, for healing, for adventure, and for rediscovering wonder again. If you find that people in your life are struggling to find the deeper meaning as to why solo road tripping matters to you so much, then my book, There's Wonder Around the Bend, might be a really great resource for both of you. It shares not only the emotional side of solo road tripping, but also the practical stuff, and things like safety and preparation, and then the deeper reasons why stepping out on your own in a season of growth can be so powerful. And truly, I hope that this encourages you to keep moving towards the things that make you feel more alive, that will help you grow in confidence and be more fully yourself again. If you are looking for more encouragement, practical help, and a little more wonder as you prepare for your own solo road trip, I would love to have you subscribe to Wonderbing Travel. And I hope to see you on the road.